The camera and the AR games are both very impressive as well, although not very easy to show you on a video, especially the 3D camera, because you won't be able to really get an idea of the depth. But I can show you a game. Again, I'm going to show it to you in 2D, so you don't get that horrible ghosting effect on the screen. This is Pilotwings Resort, and it's probably the best game to get if you just want to see the 3D effect, because it looks absolutely fantastic. The resort is really well designed, and it looks great, really colourful, and you'll have to take my word for it, as I say, but you can really see a long way into the distance with this game. I can tell you that I'm almost certain to crash because I'm doing this all one-handed. But you can see I've already passed it, so I'm not just useless, I promise. So here we are in a biplane at the resort, and all we have to do is fly through the rings. Nice and simple. And this is where the 3D effect, whoa, way off here. Won't worry about it too much. This is where the 3D effect really comes into its own, in my opinion. It really helps to be able to have an idea of how far apart the rings are, how far you've got to go before you hit the next ring. This is probably the best first party title to get for the 3DS. And I think probably the best launch title to get if you just want to get a really good impression of what the console can do, and also show it off to other people, because why wouldn't you if you've got a Nintendo 3DS to show off to people. I'm just going to show you some other games now. I've also got Rayman 3D and Nintendogs Cats, which Game gave me for free at the event. Interestingly, you do have to close your games before you can hot swap the cartridges, which is a little bit annoying, but something I'm sure we'll all get used to. So I've put Rayman 3D in now, as you can see. I really like this kind of big 3D image you get showing off the games. It's a big improvement from the old icons we used to get on the DS. Rayman 3D is a strange game because it's a 3D port of Rayman 2, but it is still absolutely a port of Rayman 2. It looks dated, and in my opinion it hasn't really been done all that well. There's some quite bad ghosting in a lot of the cutscenes, long load times, although it does control well and it's still a good adventure, and it just looks a bit dated to me. The 3D effect is quite well realised in this. It's just that ghosting effect, as I say. Bright objects kind of split into two, sometimes even three, and there's just no way to fix it. At first I thought I wasn't hitting the sweet spot, but I've tried other software and I've just had absolutely no problem. And also it's better in the game. It's mainly in the cutscenes that you'll run into the problem. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but it is annoying. It's just a bit of a kind of thrown together port, not something that Ubisoft is probably incredibly proud of, although I saw a lot of people buying this yesterday in game and in HMV, so perhaps Ubisoft are proud if they're making a lot of money from it. We have Nintendogs Cats, Retriever and Friends, so let's take a quick look at that. You know, it's not my kind of game really, but in this case I'm willing to give it a big chance because it's really charming, really well designed, and like the DS version, really does show off everything that the console has to offer. So this is my dog, so let's try some of the voice commands. Patches. There we go, she's heard me. And we basically interact with the dog in this silhouette view at the bottom. because obviously we only have the 3D top screen. But it actually works surprisingly well, and you can kind of concentrate on the top screen and just pick up the bottom screen peripherally, which is really good. You can kind of see the fur effect that they've been advertising. You know, these dogs look quite realistic. You can tell the 3D effect. Nintendo's put a lot of work into getting it just right, and if you've got any patience for this sort of game at all, you should probably pick it up, because it is just undeniably a well-made title. Okay, just one more thing to show you now. I'm going to do it with Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, because I'm just that predictable. What I basically want to show you is how well DS games play on the 3DS, and honestly, the answer is not particularly well. You can tell here that there's kind of pillar boxes on the side where the DS picture has been squeezed onto the 3DS's widescreen display. It looks probably okay on camera, but it does look just a little bit blurry, especially in games like this with pixel fonts and pixel artwork. You can kind of see, look, that the edges of the letters there just are a little bit kind of furry, not as crisp as they should be. You can see the individual pixels if you're watching this in HD, and it kind of just is a little annoyance. If you're just happy to play your DS games on a bigger screen, then that's fine. You shouldn't worry about it, but it is something to consider before you go and hand in your DS or DSi. I've discovered if you hold down Start and Select, it's again hard to do with one hand, and start your DS game, it kind of forces it to play in the native DS resolution, as you can see here, which means you get massive boxes around the edge of the screen, both on the top and the bottom screens. But what it also means is that you don't get that kind of blurring effect. So basically you can have a trade-off between playing the game really small or just a little bit blurry. I think I prefer it blurry than small, but I don't particularly like either, and I do almost regret trading in my DSi to get my 3DS. So those are my first impressions of the Nintendo 3DS. I will be posting more videos later from the launch event, and also I will be posting some reviews of all the games, probably video reviews, although I can't guarantee that, in the not too distant future. So do keep it tuned to outsetvillage.com, and I'll see you again soon.